Welcome back to the DomCast, everybody. Episode 11, and no rhymes this week, but I do have a co-host, Blast from the Past. Say what's up, E.
Hey, guys.
If you're from the that was a Rod reference, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. If you're from the other platform he used to podcast on, we had our guy Rod. He'll be back one of these days, but it was a Rod reference. If you know, you know. We love Rod around here. Anyways, yeah, this is E. This is Eric, good friend from college. He was on the podcast platform with us for like the last year when we were doing it before Corona. Haven't had him on this channel yet, so here, 10 episodes through, I figured I would try to set that up. You may even catch us on the Locker Room app if you've seen what Bezos is doing. We may be hosting a couple of rooms there together as well, but that is for the future. The conversations we're about to have are for now. So I guess we don't really need to do the whole life thing. I know where you've been. I've seen you. The podcast hasn't. But I guess how has the season been going for you so far in terms of like who you've been watching and, you know, what you've been paying attention to? And do you still hate Mike Conley? That type of thing, you know? And Wiggins, by the way, because I'm a Wiggins propagandist and he don't believe in... Every time I send a Wiggins post to the group, he don't fuck with that. So
Yeah, I don't care for Wiggins. I don't care for Mike Conley. I think Lonzo will eventually be the new Wiggins.
In terms of...
There's no growth.
This man came in hot.
No. Like, again, I think when it comes to Lonzo, I just think that's the case now. I think last year you said something like, well...
I give him time. I
just think this is what, fourth year?
Well, for Lonzo, this is like what? This is about 3 or 4.
Yeah, I'm good on that.
Well, anyway, I'll give him time. I mean, I think I've been right to give Wiggins time. He's defensively.
Well, I ain't gonna lie. When it came to Wiggins, I think a lot of people gave up on him.
Yeah.
It's a great situation in Warriors.
Right.
I think he only get better when Clay get back healthy.
And it only... Like, we were actually just having this conversation in the gym. Like, for certain players, when you play in certain environments, especially if you got your money, then it's kind of like it becomes, you know, that progress becomes kind of neutral. Because we were specifically a player we were talking about was like an Aaron Gordon. Because we always say, if he got traded to a different organization or there was something to aspire to, we think he would probably, you know, put some.
Well, you know, when it comes to Magic, anybody who leaves.
Yeah.
Well, come to Magic, if we get players before they pop, after they already
always
pop.
Every single time.
It's like, never during.
Sabonis never got to play a game for the Magic, did he?
No, I think as soon as he got shipped out.
And now he's all-star. Oladipo tore his thing, but he was all-star as well. All-star
like they on a bubble to get better, and we get rid of them, or they come after their prime.
Dominique Wilkins, Patrick Ewing. So this inevitably means that y'all will end up with
it's a wait station.
Yeah, the last year of Chris Paul's career will probably happen in Orlando.
Absolutely. Westbrook, give me all of them.
Facts. Yeah, we'll be talking about Westbrook on the pod today.
But I've been watching the Warriors for the same reason everybody else is, to see how this team look like. Of course, you want to Clay, but it's still fun to watch.
Yeah.
You know?
No, really fun. Like that was it was kind of like fascinating for me because we watched Curry own 5 years basically,
right?
And the team pretty much got better like progressively over that time. So I was like everyone else. I wasn't coming in praying on Curry's downfall, but I was kind of curious without the space Clay provides, without the
yeah, I heard those rumblings beginning of the season. Look, well, he can't do anything without the Clay and all that.
Through 3 games.
He got to do what LeBron do and all that crazy stuff.
And right now, I think the last I saw, I think he was shooting 40% from 3 now. He reached a 40%, which is, I mean, for him, I think I'm not
especially
sure
at the high clip that he shoot him at.
Yeah.
Yeah, he be at 40 is insane. Yeah,
it would be an accomplishment, I think, for this Warriors team to end up in the playoffs, which I think they're gonna get there like an A seed, or whatever. And they're just trying to. When you look at the situation the Warriors are in this season, you come in with Oubre, who's just had a horrible season. Even if he's gotten a little bit better since the beginning, it's been horrible. You're trying to bring Wiggins along, who, like you said, the environment is really important because. Like I didn't get to really finish with that. Like when you're in an Orlando or you're in a Minnesota and you know like if this isn't going anywhere and you got your money, yeah, sure, you might get a little bit better, or you might try to get a little bit better, but there's a motivation factor. Like you
got a losing environment.
Yeah, there you go. That's perfectly.
Yeah, losing environment. So you just go with the pace.
Yeah, in Golden State, you kind of know that Clay comes back next year, God willing, from if he comes back healthy, that's a contending team.
Right.
And so they've been dealing, trying to bring Wiggins along. Wiseman came in with like how many college games? I don't forgot now. Like barely.
Less than 10.
Yeah, something crazy right before he was the part of that thing with Penny.
With the Penny Hardaway. Then he had to sit down. Then the COVID hit. So.
Yeah, and and Wiseman looks nice even without the training camp, even without. He's a rookie. That's the thing. Being that young, there's learning curves. Draymond Green is constantly yelling at him and whatnot. But yeah,
I like to see that though.
What's that?
Give him coaching on the court.
You like that line of that line?
Not the Gasol insult, but when he give like wisdom to a young player when he mic'd up. I do like that.
Yeah, and if you're a young player like Wiseman coming into a championship culture like that, you listen.
The most rookies, they go in an environment where these champions, they get they crack under pressure and get nervous.
Yeah. So. Like he's in a unique environment because LaMelo goes to the Hornets where they're just trying to make the playoffs right now, which the Warriors are. But again, we know contending is in their future. But like LaMelo's trying to crack a starting spot on this team that maybe will be an AC for a little while. Halliburton, same thing on the Kings. Quickly, we were just talking about quickly in the gym. Which is actually a surprise. And
God floater.
Yeah, right. Just 100%. I tell you, I could not believe my eyes when I watched them play, and I'm like, yo, every single shot in the lane is a floater. Right? Do you have I don't have a comparison in my head of like a player like that's coming every. It's almost like as sure as like a Steph 3-pointer down the air is the flow. I've never seen. I don't have an example of my head.
Like instant. He come up float and it's like bucket.
Yeah, and it's solid though. Yeah. It's very solid. I'm happy for New York. We'll be talking about New York in this podcast. I guess because we have 100 directions we'll probably go. I guess I'll start it off since we're like a quarter way through the season right now. Did you have teams that like have surprised you so far, or disappointed you?
Okay, disappointing teams are the Pelicans. Okay. I thought the Pelicans would be better. I don't like the defensive schemes. I still don't understand why they traded for Adams.
Yeah,
but I thought Pelicans will be better because you got Zion there. You got some nice pieces. You got Ingram's flourishing, so I thought it'd be better position. Mavs. I thought Mavs better, but we know it had COVID, so I understand.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's like the most team I was expecting to see a big improvement.
Mm-hmm.
Wizards too.
Yeah, which again,
I think they probably the biggest.
I thought they should, at a certain point they might just forfeit the season because they missed with the COVID.
Six games got postponed.
Yeah, COVID was just like wrecking them, and then Westbrook had the quad. I'm like, chief, are they even gonna have a roster to finish the season? Basically,
and apparently, I don't think they can make up those 6 games because of the tight schedule we in.
Well, I thought I'm not sure, but I had read that the NBA had planned on a lot of these games being postponed, and they're already like bringing up some of the makeup games. So I think they'll be able to make them.
Because you look at the record compared to other ones, like they ain't playing enough games.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know how you. Plus, I don't know how you ranks the standings work if you haven't played.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't know how that works.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure they're gonna be able to make them all up. But it is a weird season because most of the teams besides the Pelicans, which you just brought up, with the Mavs, the Heat are one that's really down there right now, and then Washington. Most of this is
Butler just got back too.
Who?
Butler.
Yeah,
he dropped 30, right?
Yeah, something like he had a good comeback game, which is that's great because I heard he was actually dealing with
lost 12 pounds apparently.
Yeah, I heard that, and I was looking for it. But I guess my worry with those teams is you say, okay, like we know the Heat are in a regular year that's a playoff team, no shit.
Right.
The same thing with the Mavericks, but you do start to worry a quarter through the season has COVID completely messed up their flow, because everything throughout the season is that chemistry on the court, the rotations, things that you use the regular season to figure out. And as the regular season trudges on, it's like that gets harder and harder to do, basically. And now it's starting to get to a point where there's some distance between some of these teams. Like, it doesn't sound like a lot, but Dallas is 3 games back in the standing, I believe, of an A seed. It doesn't sound like a lot, but at that point, you're also kind of depending on the teams in front of you to lose some games as well, because they've lost 5 straight. So if you continue to lose, this team, the distance gets bigger. So you start wondering, do you get a situation where a team like the Mavericks don't make the playoffs? And that
the great thing about they still have the play-in tournament. So
there you go.
You got some type of, I don't want to say comfort, but you have time to figure some stuff out
and just stay in striking distance, basically.
Exactly, because if Mavs in the play-in tournament, they could sneak up and get one of the playoff teams.
Absolutely, which makes this year really. Be a good transition. It makes the year really weird because first of all, it's the perfect year for this play-in tournament to really take hold. But you're gonna have situations where like teams like the Knicks or the Cavs maybe are playing the former Eastern champion Miami Heat in a play-in tournament, or somebody's playing Luka in a play-in tournament. And this is
I got a question with the play-in. Is it best out of 5, best out of 3?
I don't have the specifics in front of me.
Hope it's not one game.
Yeah, because last year, how did we do it in the bubble? I've forgotten.
What was no play-in in the bubble?
Yeah, there was a play-in for the bubble. Remember the Blazers and all that?
And all that.
Yeah,
I think
which was awesome.
Yeah, I can't remember. I can't recall now.
Yeah, I've looked at the exact format. I see NBA,
but that was the same exact play-in as this
I'm not sure
year?
if it's the same exact as how they're going to be doing it this time. Because since we're so early in the season, I hadn't really looked at the specifics of it.
I hope it's not one game, because that would be terrifying.
Yeah, I do wonder how you view it though. Like, this is something I often think of to myself right now. Do you, with everything that's going on in the season, I don't know if you saw that quote from the executive that was like, oh, if any season is an asterisk season, it's now. Like, forget the Disney thing. This is the asterisk season. But because of the hardships that teams are dealing with, does that make it an asterisk season, or does that make this like a war of attrition where it's going to be one of the hardest seasons to ever have?
I think it's both ways, because if you have someone one of the best records in the league or top, but the people that you know supposed to be here had COVID and they players haven't played, you know, it's kind of false. You know why you're there. It's not because you're an ultimate team, or especially let's say this happened in the playoffs.
Yeah,
I highly doubt. I think they'd be more careful in the playoffs. Let's say you're in a matchup and KD got to sit down.
Yeah,
got COVID tracing.
Yeah, and the hope is we're in February right now. Playoffs are going to be around like May. The hope is that by the time the playoffs come around, we won't really be, not that we won't be dealing with COVID, but from the players, it seems like a lot of them will, maybe have been vaccinated, or it'll be a safer environment.
And plus, I think they will probably be in like their city hotel, not trying to risk anything.
Yeah, absolutely. Because if you're the reason your team got bounced in the first round by the AC,
I think if it was some like situation like that where it's a lot of COVID things happening, you know. So I think if you want to take that position, saying it is an asterisk because of the COVID. But I still understand the other side where people dealing with a lot, man.
I think you would have to wait until such a time as like Kevin Durant missed Game 7 because of health and safety protocols. Then it's like, okay, what the fuck we doing here at that point? But I think like throughout the season, it's kind of really survival. I don't want to say survival of the fittest in the situation we're in right now. That's a poor choice of words.
Do you think it's more like last year, where it was more mental strain last year?
What do you mean? Like,
you're in a hotel all.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it's more of a mental strain.
Yeah, because LeBron hinted at that. He was like, there's a lot of things people don't realize just with our routines. To be as great as like a LeBron is, we do certain things. It's like a routine, and when you're just in the hotel, it's a little bit different. Mental is a big part of the basketball game as well. But yeah, throughout the season that we're going through right now, it's kind of like you're getting games postponed every night. It's kind of like just like ragtag with some of the rosters. One night we're gonna have this guy, the next night we're not going to. But it also, a good thing. It gives some people more burn than they might normally get. You start getting certain players getting a little bit more minutes or whatever, or certain rotations. There's a good side to it. It helps you figure things out. But yeah, I figure we'll have the kinks worked out hopefully by the time the playoffs comes. Because if the reason the Lakers didn't make it back, for a repeat, it's because LeBron got health and safety protocol against the Clippers. I'm not taking it seriously.
That would be super nuts.
Yeah, I'm not taking it seriously. I guess bringing up LeBron can kind of take us to the MVP race. A big part of today's show, we'll be talking about MVP race, All-Star voting, because that just happened. And the MVP race is interesting right now. Let me actually show you, because last night at like 4 a.m, I recorded a solo podcast, but then I figured out you could probably come. And Basketball Reference does their MVP voting a little bit differently than like a ESPN, I guess. But
what's the difference?
Well, like the guys, like whatever their ranking system is, it'll normally have a different result than what you'll see from like the NBA's official. But anyways, Basketball Reference right now, I don't think it's like that far off. So Jokic is leading the MVP race right now, which is controversial because people have an Embiid like love right now going on, especially because the Sixers can't win without him.
Right.
Yesterday against the Pacers was the first game. They were 0-10 without Embiid in their last 10 games before that, which is that's the LeBron argument, right? Oh, you can't win without him. He's the MVP. Right. So there's that. Joel Embiid is second though in Basketball Reference. It's not my opinion. This is what I'm reading. They have Kawhi Leonard third. They're 16-5 right now. He's been having a crazy season, and it's been quiet because no one cares what the Clippers do in the regular season anymore.
Yeah,
after what happened
last year went down.
Yeah, then they have LeBron and they have Kevin Durant. So the 5 is really what matters. After you get out of 5,
strange ranking.
Yeah, basketball. I told you it's a little bit weird, but it's not that. I don't think it's right now at this specific moment. It's that far off. Like this doesn't.
Why is Kawhi over LeBron?
Why is Kawhi over LeBron at the moment? Again, the rankings. You know, the way I look at it, I actually just tweeted this before I got on. It's the way the MVP race goes through most seasons is like you'll have like 5 names, but really we know some way through the season we kind of know who's going to win it pretty much for sure at a certain point. At most seasons, right? Yeah. And then if not, there's pretty much only like 2 names that you think can seriously win it. Everybody else after that is just kind of a mention. People are making their arguments and it's fun discussion, but it's normally like this. It's like 1 and 2. Right now, I would say 1 and 2. I would agree that it's Jokic and Embiid, and I think everyone else is kind of a mention and just fun discussion. Because even
right now, you think it's a 2-man race?
I'm not saying. Well, first of all, it's way too early to just say
like based off this quarter.
Yeah, based off of like where we are, the quarter mark in the season. Yeah, I think these are definitely the most likely. We were talking about Kevin Durant in the gym earlier, and that was also some of the. It's because I started tweeting about it, and people were like, "Oh, where's KD on this?" But I thought we came to the understanding that once, because I love what KD's doing. He's like the same player, if not better, after Achilles.
Team MVP.
Yeah, however the hell that's happening. I don't know what they did with his. He got bionic Achilles now. Whatever. But same if not better. And the Nets are good. They're second in the East right now. They're probably going to end up first. And so we always do the best player on the best team thing for MVP a lot of the times, right? That's a lot of the times. True. But I thought we came to the understanding once James Harden got there, like there's not an MVP coming off that team. Did I misread that?
No. Yeah, you're right. You're completely right. Once you have another MVP caliber, I think the MVP breakdown is narrative, numbers, and who has less help.
Okay, so you have a formula basically for like how
I
for how they
vote. How it is.
Yeah, how it is. Yeah.
And if you have a offensive gifted scorer in Kyrie Irving, and plus you have a MVP caliber like this recently one with 2 years removed from James Harden.
Yeah, 2018.
I think he averaged what 30 how much he averaged last year? Something crazy.
Yeah. It's always something
like
crazy.
He gonna eat your votes.
Right.
He gonna eat your votes.
Well, yeah, and not in terms of he's gonna be getting any, but in terms of like
I can't vote for Harden's on your team.
Man. Right. Yeah, because right now Kyrie's averaging like 27 points a game on the season. Harden's at 24, but probably I see he's got some 11 assists a night. Like you have the most offensively.
But the thing to counter is the defensive side. They so horrible defensively, so maybe you can give KD some votes because his offensive load, but you can't really say they got Harden and Kyrie there. Yeah, but it's not like a juggernaut like the KD Warriors.
Yeah, that's it. That's where I was going with all this. First of all, since you brought that up, I do have an interesting stat to read you. Did I send it to the group?
It says not
sure. The Nets since the Harden trade have a 122.6 offensive rating, which is the best in the league, and if it held, it would be the best of all time.
Okay.
Also, since the Harden trade, they have a 119.9 defensive rating, which is the worst in the league. They have the worst defensive rating in the league, and it would be the worst of all time. That would be the worst defense of all time. Which I said this on the podcast that I did solo this morning. I've never seen a stat like so perfectly encapsulate what I'm watching on this TV because 100%. The Wizards hung 150 on them last night and won.
It's insane.
The Wizards. And this is Westbrook off of his rehab quad. Yeah. I'm like, who scored outside of Beal and Westbrook? Even though I was watching, I'm like, how does that happen? But we'll get to that. We'll talk about the Wizards game. It is interesting. That's also something I talked about. Is when the Warriors got together, there was an immediate understanding. Curry can't be MVP. KD can't be MVP. Like
absolutely.
They were like, nah, we're not even looking at y'all.
Entertaining that shit.
Yeah, y'all can be in the race like at 6 or 7, but we're never gonna put y'all. I do find it interesting though. Like I don't want to go too far into narratives, but I do find it interesting. Like the Nets got together with all this offensive talent. And it's like I can't gauge where it's at because some people are trying to give KD the MVP nod now, which means you don't fear him or this team as much as you feared it in Golden State. You see what I mean?
I understand.
Because like you're already saying, oh, he can possibly win MVP on this squad. On top of that, like you just said, they've kind of been doubted from the jump, from the time the team got together.
Because of defensive.
Yeah, because of the defensive side, which is not. I don't think that's a. I mean, I think that's
legit. It is that. You still got Harden over there, man. I don't care about all that.
Yeah.
I can't get MVP because you have someone on your squad that can probably get hotter than you.
Yeah. And you know what makes that really difficult is who you're going against in this race. Because the way it's just shaping up right now, quarter way through the season, you're going to be going against top runners like Embiid, who's dominating, and his team clearly is nowhere near the same without him. And you're gonna be going against Jokic, who, if he missed like a significant time right now, I think the Nuggets would just fall like out of the stratosphere, basically.
Absolutely.
And so at the end of the day, even if KD has a first seed with the Nets, if their record is not super significantly like higher than all these other guys, I don't see how it would end up going to a Kevin Durant with Kyrie and Harden over Jokic. And this Nuggets team has gotten worse since last year as well. Mm-hmm. He's nearly averaging a triple-double right now. Just cooked Gobert yesterday. We were having that conversation as well.
We could. I want to get to that.
Yeah,
eventually. I don't know when we want to get to that.
You can say
when I go back
to
the MVP, like if I had to vote for now, I'll vote for Jokic. Mm-hmm. I think even though Embiid is that valuable, we know if Jokic take a day off, that team look way different.
Yeah, and so does the Sixers with Embiid. Like,
yeah, but at least, even though Ben have offensive limitations, he's still an all NBA caliber player when he's engaged.
Right.
And Bubble Murray is gone. Yeah. I don't think he's coming back. And the team, I guess your second best player, I'd rather have Ben over Murray, especially this year Murray. Mm-hmm. That's how I cut the hairs between them two.
Yeah, because
even though Embiid's a greater defender.
Yeah.
This what Jokic do besides playmaking and scoring is something that is you got to marvel for. It's amazing. Right. The Larry Bird, when he said that, it's not tripping. I'm not tripping on that no more.
Right. And you know what's funny is people like back to the Ben Simmons and Jamal Murray comment you just had. People are disappointed in Simmons this year because he hasn't taken the jump to actually be like what we thought he was going to be. But at the same time, the Sixers at the moment have Shake Milton scoring more than him, Tobias Harris. You got Embiid. Like, the offensive load is kind of more or less taken care of, and they're winning. So do you need Ben Simmons to...
Yes, because playoff ball is a little different.
Yeah, so you're saying basically this is cool.
I'd rather you figure that out now than when you got it best out of 7 somebody, and we know Ben still can't shoot.
Right, and he's trying. Yeah, like he's airballing, but he's trying.
Yeah,
like he's starting to put up the shots. It looks nervous. It looks like
I really believe fully go as far as Ben will allow them to go.
So you're saying because like you're gonna in the playoffs especially you're gonna get Embiid eating, but if it gets tough basically, then your second guy is going to be a Ben Simmons, even though Tobias Harris is absolutely hooping right now.
Tobias hooping, but I need to see this more over time to get him that. Okay, he's legit now. Right, in a sense,
because when he was on the Clippers, he was kind of doing something similar.
Like
then
this.
He got traded, and a lot of things have changed since that time. So okay, I see. So that's why your vote is going. I think if I were to vote for Jokic, I always try to look at the MVP practically of like where is this going down the road. That's why I don't get into like the big arguments.
Okay,
because people are always arguing like, oh, when Giannis was clearly going to win it last year, people were arguing it for LeBron. When Giannis was clearly going to win it in 19, they were arguing it for Paul George. Like, there's always something, people are trying to go against. I just look at how the MVP is voted on. You can kind of always see where it's going. I think in the long run, what's going to hurt Embiid's chances is probably the games that he misses.
Yeah, he's going to miss some more games this year, too.
Yeah, and so even if the Sixers are losing a lot of those games, which technically helps Embiid's case, I think at the point, if you have the Nuggets who started the season struggling and had COVID issues as well. They were missing Michael Porter Jr. for a long ass time. If they end up still like third or second seed and Jokic is doing what he's doing now and Embiid has missed more games because of the quote back tightness that they keep sitting him out with, I kind of think that might be the difference maker. But if Embiid played all the time and the Sixers best team in the East, I think it's going to come down to those.
Yeah, I do, but I think if let's say Embiid played the rest of the year as much game as Jokic, I just think the nods will probably go to Jokic.
All right, that's I think it would go to Embiid in that case. I think they would go if it stayed the same in Embiid.
Because they're gonna go to the conference difficulty shit.
Right, that too. Which both are kind of,
especially if he get one over the Clippers, both LA teams. If they get the 1-1 seed or in that top 3.
Right.
I think he got more backing than Embiid.
Right. Yeah, this is
and Ben might have a game where he actually get a crazy triple. I don't know.
Off the top of your head, when's the last time, or do you remember when it came to two bigs? Yeah,
2000s. Yeah, Duncan and Shaq. I don't know that 2000. Maybe Duncan and Shaq, or Or yeah,
it's fun living through this because it always comes down to ball handling, like guards or just ball handlers and facilitators. And I mean, hell, Jokic is a super facilitator right now, but still, he's a center. And I don't know how much. I don't know if you even saw the highlights of Jokic cooking Embiid, but we were having that. Jokic cooking Gobert, but we were having that conversation of Jokic being super defensively talented, but Jokic is on like a.
Again,
did I say Jokic just now or Gobert? I said Gobert, right?
Yeah, Gobert.
Yeah. But Jokic is dating back to the playoffs has been giving this man just like
I'm saying, like I said, I just think we more harsh on defensive player than offensive player.
Yeah, we treat
if
it
a defensive player cannot block the buzzer beater shot. Oh, I thought you were the elite defender. It is greater offense. We never have the same issue if a great offense will have a bad shooting night. We never question his scoring ability.
Yeah, because it's coming back.
Yeah, but defensive player, if I'm the best defender in the league, but I gotta guard some offensive monster, and he get the best of me, don't question my defense. It is a superior offensive player.
And the example you used earlier, you asked me like some of the greatest defenders I've seen in my lifetime. I go Kawhi. You're like,
and
well,
KD will still drop 40 on
yeah,
this man.
KD can still do it, right? Like even if Kawhi has gotten good matchups with him before, that hell, KD was Kawhi playing that night? KD scored 50 and when he was part of Golden State last year. I think he was. Yeah, he was last year.
Yeah, it's like it's not you can. It's like you gotta put your hat on. Like, this man is a great scorer.
Right.
So I don't like people that criticize defender like, I thought you were like, fan, this man, it's a baller.
Yeah, because Jokic, the thing is, at this point, it's just it's magic. Like, he's slow, he's unathletic,
They warping time and shit.
overweight, but he get people pinned under the basket and do a couple of like left, right, and then flip it up, and then the shit just go through for
Same
no
as
reason.
Luka. Luka's not fast, but he be getting people.
Yeah, what I've heard, mostly is like Luka. What he gets is his strength. Like they say, he's just like super strong and like it's very hard to stay in front of for that reason.
Jokic got the slowest Euro, but he'll get people.
Yeah. Jokic is got that. He's quite possibly the best passer.
He's
in
a crafty
today's
NBA.
NBA.
Super crafty.
It's ridiculous. Like, he sees plays before they develop. I don't know if you saw the one where he touch passed it to Paul Millsap. Yeah, like before he even saw him, he just caught the ball and just like it's magical to watch. But that's also the reason. So you always have a thing, whatever it is, you have a thing with Mike Conley back from like the Grizzlies days because he was always hurt.
Because they say this when we call it, what's their slogan at the time?
Grit and grind.
Uh-huh. And every time they mention the Grizzlies and how good this team is, how Conley, every time I check in, he's injured.
He was injured,
and that always pissed me off. That followed all these years.
That followed ever. That's always been a thing through this podcast.
I don't like that. Like, you got to check out.
He's having a good year now.
Okay.
The Jazz are having a good year. They've got their shooting together. They've got their defense together. But I'm assuming you still don't believe in the Jazz as a concept, even though they've been like second seed now. They're up there with like Clippers and Lakers.
Yeah, I don't believe in them as being a dark horse.
Whatever you want to call it, contender, dark horse. Yeah, and it's because
not just Conley. It is that your best player is Gobert. To my understanding, that's your best player.
Yeah.
And because he's your best player, but he have no offense, or he'd have limit offensive, I don't see them beating any of the top heavies in the West.
Yeah, whether it's Mitchell or Gobert, because people will probably go into a tooth and nail debate about that. I guess the thing is, like, in the 2021 Western Conference, the West, even though you laugh at the Clippers all you want, the West is still going through the Lakers or the Clippers. Like, to advance, you're gonna have to beat one of those teams.
Like, my dark horse is the Nuggets. If I can't name an LA team, I'll go with Nuggets.
So that's the team. Like you'd say, like if one of those teams aren't making the finals, you're going Nuggets.
And Nuggets did beat Clippers last year.
They did, yeah. I think it's a little bit different
teams now,
yeah.
But I still have to give them that love.
I guess my thing with Utah, because I took some time and really watched Utah this week, because I've been hearing about them. I had people tagging me because like I had the Jazz a lot lower than it looks like they're going to land right now. I thought there was going to be questions with Gobert's contract. There wasn't. I thought Donovan Mitchell. I thought that was going to. I saw that going differently, and I didn't think they made any like super like major improvements over the offseason. Anyways, all that stuff aside, I watched this team play, and then I watched them play against the Nuggets. Admittedly, the Nuggets were shooting like outer space basically in the first half. So that's how they built everything. Yeah, that's how they built that lead. And so my thing is, if the Nuggets and Jazz met in the playoffs this year, I would still pick the Nuggets, because one thing a Jazz fan will come and say is, the Nuggets not going to shoot like 1,000% every game. How are they going to be able to lead like that? But I'm like, fam, this goes back. Like Jokic, this is not a new thing of Jokic cooking.
Yeah, Jokic always get the best of Gobert.
Yeah, always gets it. And then they had Derek Favors on him. Derek Favors like, bro, y'all got me out here on Jokic. It's
and Donovan seemed more consistent than bubble Murray, non-bubble Murray.
Yeah,
so.
we're not getting. I'm not depending on like averaging 50 points in the playoffs this year.
But Mitchell, every time he go to playoff, he do his work.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
yeah, but I guess that's the thing is the Jazz can win all their games this season. I'm still obviously not going to put them over the Clippers or the Lakers. And in a series again. I even think the Nuggets losing Jeremy Grant. I said that was going to be huge, and I don't know if you've been seeing, but he's hooping in Detroit now. He averaged over 20 points now.
Losing and hooping though.
Yeah. Obviously, you can't have shit in Detroit, but. But yeah, so I guess the Jazz are one of those teams that you gotta make me believe it, because I never believe in them, years before, and they're admitted, like I said, I'm watching them, they're doing better this season, but and Mike Conley actually being the force that we thought he might be with this team. Mike Conley this season is what I told you I thought he would be last year. You remember that? Because I had the Jazz as a dark horse last year, and I thought this was the effect Conley would have on them, the one that's going on right now.
I think he had a bad start too, last year.
Yeah. Then I'm pretty sure there was another injury there.
Yeah.
So yeah, that kind of makes me think of the Clippers a little bit, because that's, again, Kawhi is up here in the MVP race. And
I don't know why he's up there, because Paul George have the same type of year, man.
Well, that's the thing. That goes back to the conversation. I know why he's in the race, and I know why he's there, but again, I think at this specific point in time, I think he's more of on the mention side, just fun discussion, because at the end of the day, Paul George he's having a 50-40-90 season right now. He was having a 50-50-90 season up until recently. Yeah. Like, is he shooting? Can you believe this man?
I think they both high up in that type of range.
Yeah, like PG's average, bro. He's shooting 45% from three. Like that's
He don't get a mention because way off P exists.
Yeah, exactly.
So
50% from the field, 45% from three. He is averaging 23 points a game, 5 assists. So my thought process is the same reason why coming into this season I didn't think LeBron is ever gonna add another MVP to the case, because Anthony Davis is doing worse than I expected.
Yeah.
But also, like, I think Kawhi and PG are gonna be taking a bit from each other when it comes down to voting. Like, PG he's not he's a candidate, but he's not one of those like serious candidates. Yeah. They're taking from each other.
When it comes to LeBron, I think people focus more on the narrative than anything else, because he's so old doing this.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And it's very impressive, but I don't like when MVPs get based majority on narrative.
And they do, and the crazy thing is we know they do, because a voter came out and said that herself. I don't know if you remember Shelburne back in probably some months ago came in and mentioned that the narrative was a part of her vote, basically. So it's
I
there.
know that, but I just don't.
And he does have the narrative this season. The interesting thing,
he got a narrative every year.
All LeBron, absolutely.
Yeah, he's gonna be all older than everybody.
And it's crazy because I saw the graphic during the Celtics and Lakers game. It said it showed. I think it was year 18, like the most points a game somebody averaging year 18 or whatever, and he was averaging like almost 10 more points than the next closest person. I think that's close to like 17. He's doing his shit right now. Yeah. And the Lakers are chilling. So the narrative is there. I think the Lakers, because we have a long race, we're only a quarter in, I think the Lakers are only like one hot streak away. Like, you remember last year when LeBron went on that tear and they beat Giannis and they beat the Clippers and he was like, in a lot of people's mind, Kendrick Perkins was like, yeah, he's MVP now. Yeah. I think LeBron is one like tear this season away from like taking it because of the because of the narrative factor. Yeah. If he gets those games,
I got a question. He get MVP based off narratives this year. He can't get no more because. Like next year, you can this man is 39. This man is 43.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, keep on adding the years, which again, like I catch the Lakers.
But he got
games.
a legit case.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't know why Kawhi's over him in that case. That's just strange.
Yeah, and that's what people are. That's what people are arguing. But that's also a thing where people, because Kawhi he looks amazing right now. But I like where the Clippers are. I mentioned this on my own in the solo pods I've been doing. I like where the Clippers are because certain teams don't need like spotlight and constant quotes coming out of their camp and constant expectations, and the Clippers are clearly one of those. And so they're in the perfect spot right now where they're hooping. Their two stars are hooping like we thought they were going to be last year.
I hope they trade for Rose. I want to see Rose in the
winning and that was something that was talked about, right?
Please put Rose.
I've been saying that for like a year now. I've wanted that because I want, like, you can argue about the fit or whatever.
I'll figure that out later.
Yeah, but I want to see Derrick Rose on a contending team. Absolutely. That's so I'd be pleasantly surprised if that happened. Well, that's mostly about the MVP race. In about 8 minutes here, I'll have to take a call, so there'll be a pause, but y'all on the pod won't notice. Yeah, the MVP race is going to be what it's going to be. It's going to keep shifting. I think Embiid and Jokic are going to keep shifting on top of each other. LeBron is eventually going to have that hot streak and interject his name like into the serious category. But for where we are right now, yeah, voting Jokic and Embiid I think are the most likely here. Just because you were talking about how weird basketball reference voting is, I do want to point out that Rudy Gobert is 10th on this list in MVP candidates because the Jazz are 15-5 and he's got he's averaging 13 and 13 with 3 blocks. Gobert is nice, bro. I like
defensive player of the year.
I like Gobert, but he ain't got shit on Jokic.
Come on, man.
Ever. The way I was watching I thought Jokic was going for 50 last night. I'm like, this is the slowest 50-point game I've ever seen.
Yeah, cause I saw the game and I didn't know he had 47.
Right. Yeah. You do, yeah.
It's like he'll put much of effort into it.
Yeah, he's just chilling. He just like reads the floor like chess pieces and he's like fake pass and you went over there or I'll shoot it then, like whatever. Yeah. He's just very nonchalant about it. I guess there's a couple of things before I get to the All-Stars. A little bit of Nets talk because we haven't had you on for the Nets. We talked about the Nets a little bit earlier in this podcast, but we haven't had you on for the Nets. First of all, did you see the crazy ending to the game last night with the Wizards?
I saw it.
Yeah, fucking
the back-to-back threes from Bill and Westbrook.
Yeah, that was like one of those like once in a, I don't want to say lifetime, but the comeback was like you never see some shit like that. A 4-point lead gone in like 5 seconds. Never see that. That was awesome. Westbrook says he's healthy now because he's been playing with one of those quad injuries. I assume it's something like Kawhi Leonard has had. And he had 41 last night. So if you get a healthy Westbrook, they're in striking distance to the playoffs still. I hope. And Beal has been frustrated the entire season. All those memes coming out with his face on them.
Sky's blue.
Yeah. And Beal, we've been hearing nothing but trade Beal and Beal trades, but I haven't actually heard a requested trade, or it doesn't really seem like
he got Lillard energy.
Yeah,
life for energy.
He's not staying with the Wizards for life.
He want to be with Wizards though.
I know he wants to be. I think the best thing for the Wizards, like maybe let Westbrook obviously try to do what he's doing with his healthy quad now, because that's what his word said. He said he's healthy now. I think they should definitely try to make a run at the AC, because as crazy as it is, that's still possible. They have a lot of postponed games to make up. But at the end of the day, the Wizards and Beal are wasting each other's time, because he's been there now since he got drafted in 2013, I think, 2012 or 2013.
He only 26, 25 or something.
Yeah. He's been there for a good amount of time now. You tried him and John Wall. I think Beal is a piece to a championship team rather than the guy that you're gonna like. I don't see the Wizards building a championship team around that. Yeah, you got Westbrook on this crazy contract. He is sooner or later gonna be over the hill. I think they should probably like do what the Rockets did with Harden and just try to find your next day. Go ahead and eventually. But I still think that'll probably be. I think we're like a year out from an actual.
Yeah. Plus, because they had this game last night, I think those talks have been probably simmered down a little bit.
Yeah.
I think the most they win, the less talks you hear.
Yeah, because everyone's happy when you get a win.
Yeah.
The Nets did not get a win, so now they are 6-3 since trading for James Harden. 2 of those losses came against the Cavaliers. Yeah. I think that was one where the Cavs also put like 120 or 130 on them.
Number,
these very average offensive teams doing that. So I guess I've heard
before they matched up, Cleveland was ranked worst last offense.
Yeah,
right before that game, they dropped like 120 on it.
Yeah, and then like they had a trio of Larry Nance, Jared Allen, and Drummond looking like the Team USA big men, basically. But it's interesting, right? I haven't heard me and you haven't talked much Nets because to make the fun. First of all, they signed DiMonchon. I'm not sure what difference that's gonna make because I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know his skill set.
His defense right now, I'm not sure if he can. All he has to do is come on that team and play defense. That's all they need.
I think that's his role.
Yeah, maybe hit an occasional 3, but I don't know what his defensive capability is still right now. He's been out for I don't know what it is, but that's all he has to do. But the elephant in the room obviously is the big man. Like DeAndre Jordan's not a starting level defensive center anymore.
That's the homie.
Yeah, that's the
like
homie.
I said, it's the homie that you bring to the court, and you got to pick him up because that's your man.
You're right, and that's how they've been talking about that pairing for a while. Yeah. And he's only 32, but he's like that. Anyways, I've talked a lot about this on my pod. If this Nets team does not, which I find it hard to believe they would go to the playoffs without picking somebody up, whether it had to be like Dwayne Dedman or whatever the fuck. Like I find it hard to believe they're going in like this. But if they do, are you choosing them to get out the East knowing that they have to go against an Embiid? Like, is it a situation where, okay, the Sixers are going to score 2 points, but we're going to give them 3 right back every time? Do you think they can just outscore their way out of the Eastern Conference? Because that's a glaring hole. The big man might be an MVP this year, and you have to go through him for to make it to the finals.
Yeah, you're going to eat your ass up in there.
Crazy. I watched Jared Allen give DeAndre Jordan hook shots, so...
Well, based off, because of KD, those three, I have to get a chance they can make it out of the East.
Yeah,
because
obviously.
the offensive capability is you can't double up, you can't double nobody.
Yeah, you can't do nothing with that. They take turns going 1-on-1 on you.
Yeah, I guess one of the situations is if Wizards can get you 150, imagine on one of the superior teams in the East.
Yeah.
And it's best out of 7.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing. And think about jump shots. Not all are gonna fall, man.
Yeah, that's
You
true.
know what I mean?
A one-off game, right?
Exactly.
I guess it's just like, what are the chances that all three of them are gonna be off at the same time?
Harden been in a situation where what are the chances they all miss fucking 1,000 threes? So
yeah, but now even if Harden go 0 of 20 on his own, and then Kyrie is like 5.
Well, it's not necessarily that. It is that if you're not scoring, how can you impact the game?
Yeah,
and we know they're not great defenders
at all.
I know Harden's playmakers. He can playmake, but again, if he's not getting buckets, he can playmake, but he's not gonna defend.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like one of them things. Is
I
rather prefer some sound defense than focus on hoping that my jump shot fall every damn time.
Yeah, and it's interesting because we were also talking about JJ Redick is now trade rumors. Yeah, he's going to be on the move soon. The Nets were a name that was thrown out there. But
you want more offense?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Defense.
I was like, it doesn't make any sense unless they're going to move Joe Harris in a deal for like a big man, and that's also going to involve them getting Redick back. So it's going to be like Redick and a big man.
Okay, cool.
That's the only way I could see that making sense. Otherwise, like Redick, it's kind of like when the Kevin Love rumors came up for the Nets. I'm like, you don't just need another shooter. Like that's not. You're good. Y'all can put up 200 points at some point, right? With the roster you have, you're good. But yeah, I guess I'm just really in stasis with the Nets right now. I'm like, let's see the roster.
And like you said, Jared Allen he had to be in the trade, right? Jared Allen
absolutely.
Had to.
There was no way Harden was going to come and they were going to finesse that. Like that just wasn't going to happen. To make that work, they had to.
I guess no one wanted DeAndre.
Nobody
wanted him.
Yeah, because like again, DeAndre Jordan's role right now is literally roll. Yeah, roll to the rim, lob.
That literally roll.
Yeah, we'll talk more Nets. We got 1 minute to 30. So
pick your homies, man.
right in the when you draft them in LA Fitness, and you got to take the homie, but you know what you getting. Yeah. We'll be back in a moment. Okay, and we are back. This is why I need to always keep NBA Twitter open, just in case like news or rumors or whatever comes up while we're talking. Because we were talking about Golden State earlier, and I mean this comes from Hoop Collective, Windhorst, so who knows? But we were just talking about the JJ Redick. The Pelicans are looking to make moves, possibly JJ Redick. Also, Lonzo has come up in that, who you've clearly grown tired of waiting on.
Yeah.
Anyways, this is actually pretty interesting. There's apparently they're saying that there's no secret that there is talks out there for a Kelly Oubre and Lonzo Ball trade. That one, I'm wondering how you feel about that if you're the Warriors, because Oubre again has times during the season, but he hasn't been good. And if you're the Warriors, do you take another young piece with Lonzo Ball if you can get it for Oubre and try to make that work out? Because just like how Wiggins is in a different environment and I don't want to say thriving, but he's getting better. Lonzo Ball on the Warriors, what does that sound like to you? Because Curry can play off ball. They could probably play together.
If it worked for Wiggins, it can work for Lonzo.
If it's working for Wiggins, it can work for Lonzo, basically.
Because Lonzo, again, as we know now, he can't shoot.
Yeah, he's not.
But he can still play make, and can he defend still?
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much what with Lonzo is what you're getting is like every season he's improved of shooting. I'm not sure if he's regressed a little bit this year or whatever, but yeah, you're looking for defense as well. But I mean, for Oubre, again, is Oubre part of the Warriors?
You're not losing.
Yeah, is Oubre a part of the Warriors' future?
Yeah, you're not losing.
But then you say, okay, Lonzo's a little bit of a smaller guard playing with Curry again. I don't know. That's just something interesting.
Well, Lonzo's like 6'6".
Huh?
Like 6'6", right? Lonzo? Right, 6'3", 6'4".
Fuck no, he ain't no 6'6".
Nah,
Lonzo Ball
6'5".
Like 6'3" at best. Let me just look it up real quick so we have it as have it in our head. Lonzo Ball. Oh my God, Lonzo Ball is 6'6". What the fuck am I talking about? Probably have to take that part out. Yeah. So 6'6" Lonzo Ball. Actually, I don't know. It always seems like with like him and D'Angelo Russell, they don't seem as big as they actually are. I don't know.
They don't play big, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. But yeah, that's just an interesting one that came out of that. But who knows if they'll ever
I don't think Warriors losing anything.
Yeah, it's interesting that the Pelicans are trying to move on or apparently trying to move on from Lonzo, because you got Eric Bledsoe there, who I don't think is your long-term plan, and he also doesn't really fit that well with Zion and Ingram. But hell, maybe Lonzo doesn't either.
I got a question. Can you explain the Adams trade?
The what?
Adams trade.
Steven Adams being on the Pelicans. I guess they wanted a very strong, like burly.
Okay.
Is that rain outside? I thought it was my toilet hissing. Jesus, yeah, that's rain.
Wow.
That's the toilet. Yeah, no. Yeah, I guess they just wanted a strong front court. I don't know, because like that's the thing with the Pelicans right now. Was Zion and Ingram are brilliant. Zion might even be an all-star this year. Yeah. Ingram obviously is, but also it's like that's why they're winning games. The court itself doesn't make sense really. Yeah. And then I'm not sure once you trade JJ Redick, like what are you getting for him? And because that's one of your only shooters on the roster.
Yeah, I don't get that.
I don't know. We'll see where they're going with that. But before the Pelicans are, in my book, like make any serious noise here, the roster needs be around Zion and Ingram. The roster needs to be like reworked. That's kind of where the Pelicans are right now.
Van Gundy got 2 years. Got this season and half of next season.
That's all you giving him?
Yeah, same as Bud. Bud getting out of here after the season.
Oh yeah, Bud. I thought Bud was getting fired last year. Yeah. Budenholzer. I thought that was gonna happen. Well, anyways, let's move on to something a little bit more consistent. The All-Star weekend, because I have the little sheet here where
apparently you trying to do it in Atlanta.
Huh?
They're trying to do it in Atlanta, right?
Yeah, that makes no sense to me. Like we don't. Why do you need that? No. Like nobody. It's not that serious. Like we're probably not, God willing, probably not gonna have a COVID outbreak, but just we don't need the All-Star game that much. I'd rather see the season continue, and then you bring all these guys together, and then like whatever. Just I don't know. Anyways, we're still gonna have All-Stars named, obviously.
Yeah.
And so this one is interesting because people take their All-Star starters seriously. For me, I'm like, look, you're gonna be some of these guys who aren't gonna start are gonna be on the team regardless. It don't really matter to me.
Yeah.
But okay, looking at the Eastern front court, I think this is pretty simple. This is as simple as it gets. KD, Embiid, Giannis. They're the three front court players in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, separation too.
Yeah, nobody's starting. Tatum missed like 10 years already throughout the season. But he's going to be an all-star, but he missed 10 years. By the way, I did want to shout out Gordon Hayward having a better season than his all-star year.
Hey, like you said, environment, man.
Yeah, that. And yeah, literally with Hayward, it just comes down to fit as well. Like you in Boston playing with a lot of people who need to improve. And you're trying to come back from an injury, go to the Hornets, LaMelo getting his minutes, but like, hey, they want you to shoot the ball if you're Hayward. And so it's working out for him. I'm glad it's working out because it didn't work out in Boston. Hell, they're even looking at like Jeremy Grant being a reserve here. Julius Randle gotta be, like the season he's had. I'm gonna be mad if Julius Randle's not an all-star reserve. He's gotta be there. 22, 6, and 11, and the Knicks are competing for a playoff spot right now.
Yeah,
gotta be. Anyway, so yeah, that's your starting front court. Easy. Now, where it gets interesting is the backcourt, because Jaylen Brown is a starter. I don't care what nobody says.
I don't think nobody arguing that one.
Yeah, you can't. He's averaged 20. He's taken the jump this year. He's averaged 27-5. He's pretty much the main reason Boston is not below 500, even though they missed Kemba for a good amount of time. Missed Tatum. Jaylen Brown is a two-way guy. I struggled when I knew we were part of the Harden talks. I didn't. Him and Marcus Smart, I was like, that shit hurt my chest. Like we were gonna have to do that. I was like, I didn't want to have to make that decision. I didn't know where I stood on that. Jaylen Brown is an all-star. Now, where it gets interesting is that last starting spot is divvied up between Kyrie, Irving, or Beal. What do you think? Because this is funny. I have my thoughts, but I want to know what you see here.
Based off last year, that he averaged 32, 31.
He has 30 points a game last year,
and he didn't get even a reserve selection.
Yeah, that was crazy. He didn't even make the All-Star team last year.
He averaged 35. It's not his fault why his team garbage, but he averaged 35. But Kyrie still have good numbers.
27, 6.
So I understand if Kyrie get it, but I won't be tripping on him if Bill get it.
Yeah.
But Kyrie got good numbers on a better team.
Right. Because I feel like that's the controversial pick here. And knowing, obviously, if we look at it from a fan perspective and fan
pause, Luka. Treat the same. You gotta have the same energy with Luka.
When we get to the West,
okay, keep the same energy. Keep the same energy.
All right. Well, in an All-Star game, I do like Bradley Beal, and like C.J. McCollum put it, he walks out of the house and picks up 30 these days. But it's facts. But in the All-Star game, I want to see Kyrie Irving. Like in an All-Star game, I want to see Kyrie.
Bill can highlight too now.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, but I need to see. I want to see the handles. I want to see the one. I want to see Kyrie, starting and all star. But again, they're both going to be there.
Yeah.
But I guess the controversy
is that they both going to be there
in the All-Star game.
Yeah,
obviously. Yeah, facts.
Bill.
Yeah, facts. Yeah, he got to be, bro. Look, last year, whatever the reason he didn't get voted, that was one thing. Like, y'all, it's a vendetta this year if the coaches.
So they saw the error of their ways and they're gonna put him in this year.
They saw the error of their ways.
Because a lot of pushback.
Bro, he's averaging, like, again, I understand. I'm not even completely absolving Beal of part of the reason why they're losing. Like, his defense is probably not great.
Yeah, he's
either.
not a good defender.
So the Wizards as a whole, like, he bears some responsibility with that. We've seen guys score a lot of points and be on a bad team. And even the funny thing is, you don't even see that conversation with Beal, the empty stats conversation that you see normally when guys have won 2 games and they're averaging a ton of points.
Because the help around him, we know he don't have enough help.
And Westbrook has been out. That's why I thought Westbrook and Beal were gonna make this team a playoff team. I didn't know. I had no way to know they were gonna be terrible defensively. Whatever. This year, I think also attention. I think there's a little bit more attention being paid to the Wizards this year, given that Westbrook is there and given that there was the trade. I think that kind of plays in the favor of getting Beal to the All-Star game. He's got to be a reserve, bro. Like, come on now. And I'm gonna be mad as hell if he's not there, but. You got some of the like
Siakam.
Like, fam, I love like a Malcolm Brogdon. He's having a hell of a season, 22-7 right now for Malcolm Brogdon, by the way.
Well, Pacers gonna have a representative.
Yeah.
It's a bonus.
Yeah, he'll be there. I had to go through. I haven't looked at the reserves in detail yet about that. So, anyways, I think Kyrie and Beal is the controversy, kinda in the starting lineup. But I do look at it as fans are gonna want to see Kyrie. I think mostly. I think he's gonna have a bit more voters from the fan vote. He is on a team that's probably going to be a first seed sooner or later. Right now, he's got the stats for it. And so people will say, oh, well, Kyrie did disappear for like 2 weeks, but we still have a good amount of time to go before this voting happens. The Wizards probably going to win too many more games before. I think Kyrie is going to edge out the starting spot, but I'm not mad at anybody who puts Beal there. I get that that's probably going to happen on a lot of people's sheets. They're going to have Beal instead of Kyrie. I think the way the voting works, I think it's more likely we're going to see Kyrie.
I see Kyrie going out. I don't see Beal in there.
So, and
the media's not going to vote Beal.
Yeah. So either way, I'm not mad either way, but Beal got to be in the All-Star game this year. Yeah. No, we pulling up if Beal's not an All-Star.
It's a bonus and
because like we're not just gonna wipe our nose at 35 points a game in the NBA. Yeah. Like that's still hella like
hard to do.
Yeah. So that gives you a starting lineup right now. Again, it's just quarter way through the season. Kyrie, Brown, Embiid, Giannis, and KD. Now the Western Conference, I think front court is a bit more clear than it was even a few days ago. Jokic, Kawhi, LeBron James. I think that's pretty for your front court. I think Kawhi is going to end up getting the nod over PG, although PG started the season as the player focal. Yeah, I think Kawhi will end up getting the nod there, but PG will be there, obviously.
Of course.
Jokic, possibly the MVP right now. Yep. And LeBron is not.
It's LeBron.
Yeah, it's not going to the reserves.
Yeah, as I say.
Yeah. But Anthony Davis is making this kind of easy because he's clearly not going to be in
coasting right now.
Yeah, his stats gone down a little bit, but the Lakers are winning. Yeah, he's not going to start this year, I don't think, at the moment that we're looking at right now. But again, just like the East, once you get to the backcourt, that's where things get fun.
No. If y'all on Bill neck, you gotta be on Luka neck.
They were both hit by COVID. Yeah, Wizards and Mavericks. They both kind of dealing with the records that they have, partly because of the health and safety protocols. But yeah, the three that you're choosing between in the backcourt here is Damian Lillard, Steph Curry, Luka Doncic. And so Steph is going to be starting. That's going to happen. This team, people thought they were about to be like a lottery team after the first 3 games of the season, and they're like a seed right now. And Steph is averaging 27, 6 and 5, 40% from 3. Like I said, he showed everybody that like I'm still that nigga. Like KD or no KD. Like don't forget. Yeah. So there's Steph. And then Lillard keeping his team alive with you or with the Blazers.
That game, he just dropped with 44 this.
And the sidestep game winner again. But you were aware, like, the injuries they've had, like CJ McCollum, foot, Nurkic, I think it was wrist or whatever. So he's averaging, it looks like damn near 30 points a game, 30 and 7 to once again keep the Blazers afloat. They're 7 seed right now. Luka, on the other hand, again, he came into the season, he wasn't fully in shape yet, so he started slow. He's had some shooting slumps. Still, basically, right now, averaging a triple-double, but the Mavs are 14th seed. They're not winning. They're on a losing streak. So I guess you've pretty much made up your mind that this has to be.
I got to be consistent. If Bill's not starting, Luka should not be starting.
Yeah, that's how you're doing.
Because, like, what's your case over Luka than Bill?
Yeah, they're in the same situation. They're both, they're both not. And the thing is, I guess the only difference is the Wizards are doing way worse, I guess, because they got like 3 or 4 wins. But and the Mavs,
and they also had the COVID thing.
Yeah,
they had to postpone. And his number 2 guy's not there.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. If I was Lillard, I'd be kind of pissed if I didn't get the starting spot. Because Steph is gonna be starting.
If he get it, if Luka get it, then we know what time it is. We know what's going on here.
Yeah, if I'm Lillard and I don't start, because that's the thing. Like, I'm constantly impressed with Lillard. I don't think he's ever gonna win a championship in Portland, but I'm constantly impressed that they've never missed the playoffs since his rookie year when they weren't that good. And no matter what happens, that team is always there, and mostly because of Lillard. And right
plus,
now,
he got 2 buzzer beaters in series in playoffs.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
CJ McCollum was having a career year, before that foot injury. That was a second guy. So you're missing 26 points right now.
Yeah.
And so if you can keep them alive, Lillard is.
Nurkic too. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, Lillard. We had it. So this looks.
I think that's locked. The West Star is locked.
Yeah, so that would give us Steph, Lillard, LeBron, Kawhi Leonard, and Jokic. And then the reserve. I guess I think the reserves are a conversation for another day.
It's related, but I don't think it's that deep. But you think Giannis gonna be vote getter in the East?
Do I think what?
Majority vote getter in the East.
Oh, yeah, KD. The leaders, right?
I think KD gonna get this one.
I think, bro, it's got, because look, even though I don't think KD is gonna get the MVP, it's not lost on me that he's like the comeback player of the year, right now.
Yeah.
And so I'm rooting for him for that reason. I'm not giving him MVP with his teammates, almost no matter what happens.
Going by the MVP, he do got the narrative about the Achilles.
Yeah, that's there. Yeah, people said that helps because that's
you don't put the comeback from that.
Yeah, and be better basically.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah,
I think if Harden had to join the team, he'd be like one of the favorites.
Absolutely,
because they would have kept the pieces they had. They probably wouldn't be as crazy on defense right now. But yeah, the leading vote getter probably might end up being a Team KD, in the Eastern Conference. Yeah, because people aren't.
He get better drafts. Well, I forgot they ain't playing the game, so it doesn't matter.
I think the Bucks right now are suffering kind of like from the same thing as the Clippers, where what happened in the playoffs, like we don't care what happened. And also the Bucks aren't doing that great right now. They're 11-8. 11-8 throughout this season. Giannis probably has his numbers, but still airballing free throws, still airballing 3-pointers. Looks generally like he'll have the same exact problems in the playoffs. And so bored with greatness, I guess, because they're still great numbers, to be honest.
Yeah, they got to switch their trainers or something.
No, what do you mean?
Because y'all training him to jump shot, but hit threes, but he'll not hit like basic mid-range shots.
We were having that conversation actually earlier. We were talking about how, again, we just because we have 2 big men leading the
and who got great post moves.
Yeah, because Jokic will just literally just chill in the post and give you work because he's that crafty. But Jokic also, like we keep saying, doesn't even have the fit for that.
Right.
Giannis, on the other hand, has the stronger, faster, bigger than most people, but it's not giving you anything like that down there. And he would probably be a lot better for it because, like Harden said, it is a lot of running and putting the hand up so nobody can get it and dunking, but that only takes you so far. Really.
Yeah. So we had a discussion on last pod, like the old pod, that he's talented, but I don't think he's very skilled.
Yeah, that's always been the thing. It's like, it's not to say, I would never go on and say like Giannis has no skill, because there's been a lot of big players before with crazy wingspans that don't do anything. Like Bruno Caboclo, the guy, remember 2 years away from being 2 years away. Yeah. So not to say that, but yeah, the skill department is why people like you were happy that he signed that contract, because you were saying
it's your fault.
Yeah, like a lot of what's happened is
your fault.
Yeah, like it's on, a lot of this is on you. The play style, why a team is able to shut you out like that in the playoffs. It has to do a lot with you. So I knew other people that were like, he can't just like skid on the Bucks, and part of this is he doesn't have an Anthony Davis teammate or a Klay Thompson. Well, whatever. He doesn't have a superstar MVP teammate with him, but still, though, a lot of this is on you. And people aren't. I don't think people are really even looking for the Bucks that much in the. Like, to come out of the East, it seems like people have gravitated more towards the Sixers and Nets, because we just assume the Bucks are going to get shut out by somebody.
Yeah, I guess we're bored by the Bucks now. We saw your thing.
After 2 years,
we saw your show, so it's like, cool.
Hit us up when he gets back. I think maybe it'll sneak up on us.
Make a new season.
Yeah,
saw these episodes. New season.
Facts. Let me look up and see if there's any more before we head up to the standings. Marcus Smart, just some housekeeping. Marcus Smart thankfully did not rupture his Achilles. I was 1,000% sure he did in the Lakers game that the Lakers nearly won. It looked like his calf exploded, same way as KD, same way as Dwight Powell. Turned out being a calf tear, which somehow was just 1
I had a question
weeks.
for you.
Yeah, go
Who's
ahead.
more valuable in that team? Tatum or Smart?
Yeah, I knew that shit was coming. Look, Marcus Smart is the Draymond Green of this team, right? You remember how crazy the Warriors used to look without Draymond Green at certain times? Yeah, we need Marcus Smart. That's why I was ready to give up on the season, because I was like, we lose Marcus Smart, we have no chance in hell of upsetting anybody.
Okay.
He saved us in some playoff games last year. He's a great part of the defense, improved three-point shooter. We can't do shit. Also, on the other hand, like, fam, if Tatum had, I don't want to put it out into the universe, if Tatum went out tomorrow for the rest of the season, we also aren't going anywhere. Like, Jaylen Brown will sprout, and, you know, he'll do his thing, but we're not going anywhere without either, really.
Yeah, I feel like you haven't answered it, though.
Tatum is the future MVP candidate, obviously.
So
if you're asking who I'd
No,
trade,
I said who's more valuable.
I mean, Tatum by default would be more valuable. He's the future MVP candidate. Like, if it right now was like you have to trade a player off this team, like, fam, I'm not trading Tatum over, like, Smart. I'm trading Marcus Smart, obviously.
Okay.
But he's my favorite Celtics. And it's important. To this specific Celtics team, the way it's built right now, Marcus Smart has like a significant value to it. Like the way we are right now and trying to make a run, if we have any hope at a run, yeah, Marcus Smart is absolutely, you got to be present.
Okay.
But also, like in the future, yeah, Tatum and Brown are. Marcus Smart might not be here one day, you know. He also might not be here one day.
Is it equivalent to Draymond and Clay?
How you mean?
Like, could people say Draymond the most important Warrior?
Yeah, for the culture and for the defense.
Because the systems they run, but we know Clay is more valuable because his.
Yeah, like.
I know put Curry in this because it's a stupid question.
Right.
But more of a Clay.
Like bringing it back to 2016, I don't think anybody would have said they had a better chance of winning closing out the Cavaliers if Draymond was playing and Clay wasn't. Yeah, nobody's saying that, right? And Dre plays an important part, but like if you had to pick, like one of these guys got to sit and you got to try to win the series, like obviously you're sitting Dre. Like come on now.
Yeah.
But these culture guys are important, you know. Just because I'm not trading my MVP over our culture guys, don't diminish their importance.
So Smart is more valuable than Brown, then?
No.
Oh, whatever. All right, yeah. What's the standings, man?
No.
What's the standings?
Yeah, no, Tatum and Brown is all right. Look, 5 years from now, Tatum and Brown, there might not be anybody else on this team in 5 years but Tatum and Brown. Like, we might have something totally different around them. You know what I mean? Like, but those guys got to be there. Like, that's what we're banking on in the future.
I'm surprised you got that quick. I thought you would say, well, Brown is the better player, but I thought Smart was still more valuable. You have Tatum there.
The semantics of all of it, you know, it's cool. Like, bro, like you gotta have your duo.
Like, yeah, no, Brown.
Yeah, come on now. These are Jaylen Brown took the star jump, you know. It is weird. Somebody brought up like you realize Jaylen Brown is going to be starting in an All-Star game before Tatum got to start. Like that is kind of weird to think about. You always assumed it would be Tatum. I did want to just give a couple of more housekeeping. Is there something that I wanted to say about the Celtics and Lakers game? Not really. That was misery. Kemba Walker had like 2 points, but he don't have his legs under him right now. He had a great step back attempt there at the end.
That's his go-to move.
Yeah, I thought it was good. Like I saw it fall. I saw it go in before it missed. Like I swear it was good. I thought we won, and then Tice missed a tip. It was a good game, but we were missing Marcus Smart, so we have an excuse. I'll take that excuse. Dennis Smith Jr. Did you hear Dennis Smith actually asked? Yeah, he asked to play for the G League. I commend that. I commend it because he was a
high pick too. 10th.
Yeah, something like that, right? And he's had a rough go of it since Luka displaced him from the Mavericks.
What is his skill set?
I mean,
besides the athletic dunking.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Got to go work because he doesn't play a lot. Is the thing, you know? He's not in a situation where he's even playing. The G League's doing a bubble.
You get PT in the Knicks, bro.
Yeah, the G League is doing a bubble. And the Knicks, especially the way Tom Thibodeau runs a lineup, like they drafted Obi Toppin in the lottery, and I thought immediately he was starting, and then Julius Randle becomes the All-Star. That's who Tom Thibodeau put out there. He's probably going to be the All-Star. Siakam might not be an All-Star. Julius Randle could be. That's crazy.
We in the world these days.
Right? For one of the rare times ever, the Knicks have positive things going on. Yeah. Like quickly, Randall, and their defense is actually pretty good too. So, and I didn't have them as a playoff team, but they could be there. Quickly, just to note his last 2 games, both 25 points in both of them. Plenty of floaters in between, nothing but floaters. But yeah, shout out to Dennis Smith, self-awareness for, because he won't get to play otherwise, and that's how you fall out of the league, basically.
Yeah.
Speaking of falling out of the league, I wanted to get your thoughts. We talked about it briefly, but the Magruder. Did I say his name right?
Rodney Magruder. Magruder.
Yeah, Magruder. Yeah. I was thinking of Scooter Magruder.
Probably that.
No, it's Rodney Magruder. And the Klay Thompson and Draymond just cooking that happened. Some people had like issues with how that dialogue went down, but I wanted to know like how you thought about
what
it.
What part was the issue? The comments.
Well,
itself,
people had an issue with Klay Thompson being in the booth. Just talking that good shit, but you heard the rant, talking the good shit. Where from the safety of the booth, they say that's one. They also say Klay Thompson. They note how when he's got a confrontation on court, like I don't know, you probably don't remember because I didn't, but in 2018, him and LeBron got into like a little like talking match in the finals.
Yeah, I remember that.
And Klay Thompson was kind of like walking around in circles, but he wouldn't look LeBron in his face. I just said like, look, when people get adrenaline going, we all do different things when we get hyped. I just like, I don't know, maybe that's Klay Thompson's thing, but it was noted he would not look LeBron really in his face. He was kind of like walking. So that's a problem. But number 3, it seemed like what people really got sensitive over was you're basically talking about this guy and not being able to feed his family, essentially saying he's going to be out of the league. That's where bro.
Feed your family.
You're not trying to hear that?
No, man. It's trash talk. I'm not like, what you want from me, man? When people trash, they don't talk about their personal, like, oh, you can't feed your family if I lose my job because he said something. I don't understand the issue here. I'm surprised Clay not the type to get spicy like that.
Yeah. You don't really hear it, and it happened just for the backstory for y'all. Magruder was taking up for a teammate or something like that, and then Klay Thompson caught wind of it and was like, yeah, he's talking like he's good or something. He's probably mad he's gonna be out of the league in a few years.
Hey, that's some funny shit.
Hey, he was going in, and then Twitter did get sensitive over that part about the. But I will note that I just went and did a quick basketball reference search when I saw the sensitivity that was going on. Magruder in this short career has made $8 million. He's on a $10 million contract right now.
He's straight. He can feed his family.
He's got 5 coming this year, 5 coming next year. Not to count his pockets or anything. I'm just saying like. Yeah, maybe Klay Thompson might even be right. Magruder might not be in the league that much longer.
I thought he was Philly or something.
Yeah, I didn't know he was playing with the Pistons. And if you're like, it looks like his career might be short. And if you know that, and you also see you got $10 million coming, like there's plans there's worse situations you can be in.
Well, it's one of the things like normal people just don't have that type of sympathy when it comes to millionaires. Like I'm not tripping on that.
Yeah, especially because it's trash talking. I've heard worse.
Josh Smith said something like that years ago.
Did he?
I don't know. I can't feel my family on 8.
That was Spreewell way back in like forever ago.
Josh Smith said some stupid shit like that. But yeah, like the fact that you can't feel your family, you made millions of dollars over your career.
I'm like, look, I understand how players go broken, like the financial literacy part of this whole thing, and I get that. But also, I'm like, look, this was trash talk, and also I think he can manage it. And it's not that's gross. The $10 million. Right. That's obviously that splits up into something smaller. But like, I wish for the next 2 years of my life, like I saw, like, okay, you know what, I got a couple $1 million coming. I might not ever make that much again, but I could make some plans.
Share your tips for your financial advisor, bro.
Yeah, Magruder gonna be all right, y'all. Yeah. I mean, then Draymond went and flamed him after that too. It was like, what was his word? Did you see Draymond Green's press conference? You didn't see it?
Nah.
Oh, he went off for like a straight minute. He was like,
buddy?
Yeah, Magruder. Wow. He was like, yeah, and then we get to the end of the game, and Rodney Magruder's supposed to be the fucking tough guy. Like, we supposed to be scared of Rodney Magruder? Like, he went off for like a whole minute and a half about it. So it wasn't just Klay. It was also that. And I didn't ever heard a clapback from Magruder.
He in no position to.
Yeah, like what are you gonna say, Klay and Dre?
Yeah, we can say. That's why you tore your Achilles. That'd be some fucked up.
That's what Glenn Davis said, actually. Basically, I don't know if you saw that. Glenn Davis in the Instagram comment section, he was like, "Yeah, that's why he's sitting there hurt or something like that." I don't know why Glenn Davis chose that hill to die on, because it's like,
as a baller, you know, as an athlete, you know, some fuck shit like that.
That's kind of weird. And Glenn Davis is a Celtic, so I gotta like move that over.
Yes.
Yeah, that's strange. Well, anyways, I did want to get on that talk because that was fun. Just reading the reactions to that, that was funny. But again, I grew up with KG on my team, and I heard some of the shit he said. And I think he said,
Cheerios,
a lot worse. Yeah, like KG said a lot of shit worse. Like the story with Joakim Noah, with you hadn't heard about it?
No.
You didn't? Well, that came up in my mind because Emmanuel Quickly yesterday came into the game and shook Lou Williams' hands, and he told him like, you were one of my favorite players. And Lou Williams like dapped him up and shit like that. Yeah. And it made me think about the Kevin Garnett story where Noah was like a rookie.
Yeah.
And he said, she told KG like, yeah, man, you got to show me that shot or whatever, the post shot, like teach him basically, asking for guidance. And KG said some KG shit. He was like, fuck you, bitch ass nigga, some shit like that.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, I can't believe you never heard that one. That's crazy. Yeah, imagine you got posters of this guy on your wall and your first game against him, you try to like seek mentorship, and he's like,
it's a welcome to the league moment, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, Noah hates him to that day because I guess the alternative there is you can make KG respect you by saying "fuck you too" right to his face. Like that, KG.
I think KG that type of person.
Yeah, he probably respect you, but also like that's kind of hard because like I just saw you on my wall. Usually it's difficult to just pull that out. Probably caught him off guard too. Anyways, that was that.
I think
shit.
Tim Duncan said on the podcast, KG, you gotta let know you ain't no bitch. And
Yeah.
he respect it.
Yeah, exactly.
If he elbow you in the neck, you don't do nothing. You'll keep doing it.
Yeah, because like again, a lot of those players, especially the superstars, they had egos like that. And they test players. Like I remember Kobe talking about how Shaq would test guys, and like he don't respect you if he could punk you. But Shaq is also like what 7'4" some shit like that.
So step to that.
Yeah, like you the rookie on the team, like or you trying to make you on a practice squad or some shit. Like Shaq testing you, like which way do you go there?
Yeah, right.
But. That's a thing that certain players do is like tests, I guess, and it's ego driven. Oh, that's speaking of one more topic because I talked about it, but I did want your opinion on Shaq's fuckery over the last like 3 weeks, I guess, with talking
hating type shit.
Yeah, and what he said to Donovan Mitchell. I'm assuming you.
Yeah, I heard. I was watching the broadcast actually. He said it before He said it before the segment. But I feel like he had to say it again because he's here now.
Oh, so that's the context.
I think it was more like, oh shit, well, you said it. So he regurgitated it, but the way he said it's mad awkward.
Yeah,
I said you wasn't good enough, but what you say about that? Like, what kind of shit is that, man? I think he just dropped 30 something.
Yeah, in a win,
like,
having a good season.
About, G?
I will say the context does help because I was not watching the actual broadcast at the end there, so I get it from the perspective of he said it. Off of
because they're talking about is Mitchell superstar. Where's his ranking at?
So you didn't want to have the fake energy of like an interview after that. I get it, but also I always say on this podcast, everything in life is optics, and the fact that it came from Shaq, knowing how he and Charles Barkley constantly talk about today's players, it just kind of seemed like you throw that on the pile with
I saw the KD response and then LeBron response.
Yeah, because KD don't like them at all.
Because that also go back to the Gobert contract.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's kind of like always something basically.
Right. But I just think Shaq is one. Cause I think I go to this point where once you are all time great, there's certain things you expect others to be, but they not you, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Like they not you. So when you see a player of Gobert caliber getting money you probably never seen, and he have none of the weapons you have, some shit you just can't calculate in your brain. You're like you can't understand it because how you got your bread and how dominant you was, you expect others to fall, especially big men.
Right.
When you see a non-offensive player get this type of money, come from a viewpoint of Shaq, it's like, huh?
Yeah, it seems very insecure, almost like my theory is like I think Shaq, because like you're not going broke, you got plenty of money and investment, so you're not the money thing, whatever. I always say though, like Shaq, I think deep down Shaq knows he could have been and was supposed to be even greater than he was. Because when I look back and MVPs are circumstantial.
That's insane.
Yeah, but
the credit he had.
Yeah. The 4 championships, but you would expect some more MVPs. Yeah. There was parts of his career where laziness clearly was a factor. Yeah, so I think, and just the way I wouldn't bring it up any other time, but I do think it comes off as a little bit insecure now when he's always, and then not even just that, when he gets bitchy with Charles Barkley, basically, sometimes when they're debating and then Shaq snaps about his rings, how many?
Yeah, that's always his end argument.
Right. Like
Charles, you got rings.
Yeah, right. Like Charles Barkley say anything and be like, "Well, I got 4 rings, so you can't talk." Like, damn.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
I don't know. Just because I forgot we did have one question at the end before. I guess I do the question now before the standings. The question, I always take questions at the end of the podcast, but most people ask things that I was going to talk about anyways that we did talk about. And Sino asked, what 2 things do you value most in a player? As in confidence, efficiency, volume, availability, defense, etc. Like, what you personally, like, what are you valuing the most? If you can come up with 1 or 2 things. For me, it was specifically like I mostly to see what players do without the ball. Like I highly value that. Yeah. So off ball and shot making are my 2 most important things. Because I see players that are good at one and not good at the other. Like excellent shot maker, but they don't do anything else.
When you say shot making, not necessarily shooting.
Well, no, just shot making ability in terms of kind of like how we were talking about earlier, where No matter how good the defender is, like Jokic is gonna go out and get you shots. KD is gonna go out and get you shots. Like I value like shot making ability because you're always gonna be able to get that off, no matter if the defense. You have a better chance, you know. Like the defense is never gonna be able to stop elite offense consistently. You see what I mean? Like yeah, you
I
always
think
gonna
mine
be able
would
to get
be
that off.
IQ.
Mm-hmm.
Like I guess IQ fall into less awareness.
Mm-hmm.
You don't gotta be a great defender, but you gotta be aware. Same as offensively, just have some type of IQ.
Mm-hmm.
Don't make mistakes. Like let them beat you, but don't beat yourself. Type.
Right.
And I do like efficiency. I like people that's consistent. You know, you could be great at one thing, but if you're not consistent, I guess that's not really efficiency, but consistency.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So that's my two things. But you have great off ball is so underrated.
Yeah, it is because that was like my main question with. I mean, and the Nets are gonna have their offense.
I hate when they
out.
say all Curry do is shoot. I really hate that.
Yeah, I don't even know who still says that anymore. Like, at this point,
like people don't appreciate off ball things.
Yeah, no, I watched Curry last week cross two people without the ball. Like
he was insane.
Yeah, he was moving and like just doing the juke and like he got two people going one way. He didn't have the ball yet, and so yeah, that kind of thing. Whether it's and it don't even have to be like elite like juking and like you.
Besides Curry, who else is a great off-ball player?
When you talk about like great off-ball, that's why I was going with it. It doesn't just have to be like moving around without it. It's knowing when to cut, knowing the right time to cut, setting intelligent screens, being able to improvise like you kind of have to do in the Warriors offense because that was like what they were struggling with at the beginning and trying to get Curry open shots. Is that what the Warriors run? It's not always just like set point A, point B plays. It's kind of like you got to be able to see what's happening and be able to, move somewhere on the floor or set a screen here. So that's why I value that so much. Not so much just being able to get open for a three, but literally knowing what to do when you don't have the basketball.
Yeah, that's part of IQ.
Yeah, that is. Because every player don't have
these things are very interchangeable.
Yeah, absolutely. Because every player don't have like the IQ. Like, you'd be great at that. And I mean, there was a story where Amari Stoudemire, not to say he didn't have like basketball IQ, but he admitted like coming out of high school, like he didn't know like certain basic basketball terms. Going into the NBA, there was like certain things he didn't know what they were. Or sometimes.
But some people, if they're not in the play, they don't know what to do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, some people make it off of talent their entire life, and then you get there, you realize that rant that the LeBron and them went on in the barbershop a couple of years ago about like some players in the NBA don't actually know how to play basketball. Seems crazy, but it's like that's actually completely true. If you put certain players in certain sets, you realize like, oh, they're good at this one thing. And
want you a pin down and come on the backside. Look at this. I'm getting the ball in this play. That's crazy.
All right, well, with that, I think we'll wrap this one up. Just looking at the standings, some interesting things. Like I said, it looks like they did add the play-in line here. But in the back of the East, the Cavaliers and Hornets, who I did not have, I had the Hornets fighting for a playoff spot, but they're 7-8 right now. I think they're the only two teams that are kind of unexpected. But there's a lot of everything is very close. The Knicks, the Raptors started off trash and they're fighting their way back. They're actually only a game out of they're only a game out of 8th. I think the Raptors are going to be there still in the playoffs. Okay. I thought they had gotten worse. Did you had them in the
playoffs? Yeah, I think so.
After losing Gasol, I mean, coming into the season,
court,
knowing they lost Gasol and Ibaka.
I had them at the bottom, but I had them in there.
Yeah, because I saw some Raptors fans still expecting them to be like the 2 seed and shit. I was like, this is not.
So who's in the 8 right now?
In the 8th right now is the Hornets.
Who's the top 8 in the East?
Yeah, you got Philly, and Brooklyn is like right behind them, Milwaukee and Boston. So that kind of settled where you would expect it.
Right.
You have the Pacers 5 and the Hawks 6, which is interesting. Trae Young might be in the playoffs this year. Luka might not. It's happening. And then 7-8 is Cavs and Hornets. But there's so many fight between 9 and...
So which one you see them drop? Which one you see dropping out the standings now?
Out of the 8?
Yeah.
I think when it's all said and done, I think Toronto's going to get one of these 8 spots. I think
the Hawks going to drop.
I think the Cavaliers are going to drop out. I have the Cavaliers dropping out.
Not the Hawks.
No, I think that this year because at least they've been able to keep Capella. They lost good.
Capella playing nice.
Yeah, Gallinari and what's his face, Bogdanovic. I'm not sure when Bogdanovic is coming back. I think the Hawks are going to be able to hold the fort this year. Okay. I'm counting on them to hold the fort with Trae Young. They kind of need to. But even though the Cavs are nice, they are still
the Cavs.
Yeah, they're still Cavs. They don't know what's going on with Drummond yet. What they're going to do with him. I heard buyout being floated around last week. Not sure how that benefits them. But
what are the Knicks at?
Right there, 9th. They are 9th, and they're half a game out of 8th. Yeah. So you see, somebody's gonna. Yeah, this play-in thing is gonna be like crazy because it goes right now from from 7th seed to
10th, right?
13th seed is
shit.
literally it's a game and a half from 7 and Miami Heat are down there at 13, so they gotta eventually, you gotta think they're gonna get healthy.
Yeah, I like this system because you can't take days off, man.
Yeah, not at all.
You need every win.
Yeah, every single win you can get. And the
Peter Rod and his Magics, man. I feel bad for him.
Yeah, bro, I watched them. I went to the Kings game, and that's the only team I've ever almost fallen asleep on in real life is the Magic. Like right now,
they got crazy injuries though. A lot of
that's what I'm saying. Without Isaac, without Fultz, it was
they got,
God.
like, the other players banged up and shit.
They're starting James Ennis. Right
yeah,
I'm just like, bro. I was like, bro, like the Magic presentation arena is nice, but like I dead ass was not into that at all, and I had good seats too.
Yeah.
But you assume the Miami Heat are going to sneak back in. That mail-in vote is going to hit, and Miami is going to be from like 13th to like eventually they're going to be in the playoffs as long as they can keep their guys for a good amount of time. The Western Conference, the Clippers are first seed right now. Again, nobody talks about it like that because nobody cares.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah. Utah is second behind them, in front of the Lakers by barely, but
yeah.
The Denver Nuggets rounded out at 4th. They've gotten Jokic has muscled them into a top 4 seed right now. The Grizzlies are 5th. They've had a lot of postponed games. Yeah, see, the thing is, they've had a lot of postponed games. Like, it looks like they've played like 6 less games than the Nuggets right now. 6
games got postponed.
Yeah, so once they make that up, I think like they might. But I gave them credit because like the fact they lost John Morant for 3 weeks and they didn't have Jaren Jackson either, and they didn't like completely
that's my
tank.
problem. How you do standings if they ain't playing enough games?
Say what?
Why are they that high if they missed?
Well, that's why, because they haven't had the opportunity to lose a lot of games. Like right now,
bro.
Yeah, like but right now they've lost less games than like the Nuggets. You know, the Nuggets have 8 losses, the Grizzlies have 6. But once they play more, that'll even out. Okay. Again, mail-in vote. Shit is gonna. Some of these teams think they're gonna be in the playoffs. I don't think they are. Yeah. The Suns are 10-8. They've missed Devin Booker.
I thought it'd be better this year.
Well, Devin Booker hadn't been great while he was playing. He hadn't been like how I expected.
Yeah.
But him and Chris Paul hadn't. I don't think they've been amazing. But yeah, they're still a playoff team right now. They're 6th seed, and Booker's been out with injury. And then Portland 7th and Golden State 8th. Their fight, they're a little bit more clear than the East. Like I said, like you go down here to the Mavericks again. They're 3 full games out of 8th right now. So. Play-in is going to be a factor.
Who else down there?
Spurs are right behind Golden State. Houston won 5 straight. They got Oladipo. They have a nice team. John Wall, Oladipo, Christian Wood.
Looking nice.
Yeah, I think they pause on that. I think they're gonna. I think they're gonna fight for it. The Rockets are gonna fight for a playoff spot. I pretty much fully expect that. OKC, were actually in 8th for a little bit. They're 2 games out now, but I expect them to fall a little bit more.
Man, they got a future.
And then absolutely. And then Kings, Mavericks, but the Mavericks are behind the Kings right now. A lot of weird shit, man. Because of COVID, a lot of weird shit. But it'll probably make itself more clear. Well, either way, this podcast is on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. The link is in the comment section in the description for that. Eric will probably be on some more podcasts, but it seems like we're going to be working with a locker room app soon as well, doing like live rooms. So, he hadn't reminded me. I'll even be able to get Rod on that possibly, since we don't actually have to be in the same room for that to work out. So, be on the lookout for that. Rate the show 5 stars, share it, like, comment, sub, all that good stuff. We'll see y'all next week.